Hey there crew, Brandon here. Welcome to another Masks Monday in a slightly different room. I hope that the lights and sound still work in here. Things are just a little bit different. I'm moving things around for a new step of life that is really exciting for me. But I still want to be able to bring you awesome Masks content. So although the surroundings are a little bit less geeky, it'll still be the same teenage superhero action coming right at you. On today's Masks Monday, we're going to be talking about the final basic move for Masks A New Generation. This is my favorite move, and I think maybe the thing that makes Masks A New Generation stand out the most from other superhero games. And it is called Take a Powerful Blow. You take a powerful blow when something really bad and monumental happens to you, when you get crashed through a building, when you get hit by just a huge bruiser, when you have an emotionally horrifying experience, like your dog deciding this is the perfect time to start squeaking on his toy. Yeah, baby, we're in a different room. Super weird. But please use quiet toys. As with the other basic moves, this is a move that you can expect to use a lot, so truly understanding how it works is pivotal to becoming a truly great Masks GM. As with the other moves, let's start with just hopping into the rules, looking at the actual meat of the move. Should have put in a bookmark or something. I've been doing this for 3 weeks and I didn't think of that. Page 75 of the Masks rulebook. My favorite page of the Masks rulebook. When you take a powerful blow, roll plus conditions marked. On a 10 plus, choose one. You must remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc. You lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way. 2 options from the 7 to 9 list. On a 7 to 9, choose one. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground, your opposition gets an opportunity. You struggle past the pain, mark 2 conditions. On a miss, you stand strong, mark potential as normal, and say how you weather the blow. So already, if you've been following this series, that move should sound a little bit different. It is way more complicated than any of the other basic moves. For one thing, having a set of options for 10 plus and a set of options for 7 to 9 are just not in any of the other moves. So be prepared that you're going to be looking at a specific category of options when you see what your final result is. Additionally, this is a move that you want to roll low on. You're rolling plus your conditions mark, the amount of different emotional ways that your character is compromised, and you're trying to basically get a low roll in order to show that they've weathered the blow well. Let's start with the trigger. It doesn't say when you get hit really hard by a villain. It doesn't say when you get hit by a Mack truck. It doesn't say when you take 1 harm. Remember, harm is not really in this game unless you're using the variant rules, but you get the idea. As with the other moves, to do it, you do it. If your character takes a powerful blow, be it physical, emotional, psychically, magically, enormous feedback from a different dimension, all of those are still a powerful blow. And sometimes the most amazing ways to use this move are when something big and emotional has happened. You walk into your bedroom and your mom is sitting there holding your mask. Like, great moment. You know she hates you as a masked person. Now she's seen you in this and your entire life is about to fall apart. And that is a fantastic time to see how your character's holding it all together, because that's really what this move is about. In the spirit of this being kind of a reversed move, I'm going to start from the 6 minus and work up to the 10 plus, basically making things more dramatic as we go. On a 6 minus, you're standing strong. This is a great opportunity for you to show how cool your character is. Like, you know that famous panel of Spider-Man holding up part of a building? They kind of lampshaded it a little bit in the recent Spider-Verse movie. That right there is Spidey getting a 6 minus. He's holding strong in the face of incredible adversity and difficulty. But don't just let that be nothing happens. Make sure that you call out specifically what is happening. Additionally, you get to mark potential, so just don't forget to forget that, because if you're taking enough powerful blows and doing really well on it, you may as well get the credit for it. On a 7 to 9, you are taking bigger consequences. Something immediate is happening in the fiction that changes how the situation is going and it makes it worse for you. Basically, you didn't weather the blow. Lashing out verbally is the first one on this list, and it's kind of one that has a lot of confusion and discussion around it. If you choose that, you have 2 choices. You either provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or you take advantage of your influence, which is a rule in the influence system, to cause them to mark a condition immediately. Basically, are you lashing out at them verbally, or are you just asking them to do something that's really dangerous and unwise? If you are provoking them, remember that there is a basic move in this game for provoking somebody. And remember that it has to be foolhardy. If you're recommending a course of action that isn't going to be bad for them to take, then that isn't doing the move. If you're not actually provoking them, if you're not making the roll, then you also haven't made the move yet. And it's the job of the GM to make sure that all of the different options that come from this stick and feel something. There's eventually going to be a video that is just about this. It's a big topic, and I just don't have time for today. If you're taking advantage of your influence, what you're doing instead is saying something cruel or mean or biting and causing them to mark something. They care what you think, and when you show them that they're not good enough, that hurts, and they mark a condition. Nice and simple. The second option is you give ground. Your opposition gets an opportunity. Basically, this is putting things into the GM's hand and saying, hey, have a little bit of fun, take a GM move. Note that it doesn't say the GM gets a tiny opportunity or the GM makes a soft move. The GM can now do something, and it can be big. If you were trying to stop them from getting the MacGuffin, maybe that opportunity is they just grab it and they're gone. And you're on your own now. You messed it up. It could be a much harsher one than that too. Don't be afraid as a GM to make this one sting. It's the one that looks the softest, but remember also that this isn't a 10 plus. You don't want this to be so extremely disastrous and completely on them that their life is ruined. This is the mid result. Some people think that if there isn't an opposition present in that exact moment, it can be really hard to use this. Consider what are the negative forces in the situation. If there isn't any negative force going on, then why did they roll to take a powerful blow in the first place? Basically, don't be afraid to move around pieces in the background, but tell the players. Just don't tell the characters. And that can be fine too. That said, I really prefer making it a thing that is in your face and it's happening right now, because that's rad. The third option is my least favorite from the 7 to 9 list, but it's good to have it. Struggle through the pain and mark 2 conditions. Basically, you get to describe your character gritting their teeth and pushing back, and then you mark 2 conditions, and you're much closer to marking all 5 conditions and then having to mark again and getting taken out of the fight. So it isn't just doing nothing, it does something. It's just like really mechanical, and I like instead being given the opportunity to do something bigger as the GM. Now, you may have noticed that I said that those are the middle results. Just because they're the middle results doesn't mean you can't get them pretty badly with it, and you should feel free to do so. Take a powerful blow is basically a situation that lets the fate of the characters kind of hang in the balance. Remember that Masks players kind of can't die unless you have things going on specifically at the table that make that so. So for things to be super heroic and fun and cool, there needs to be some really true adversity, and this is a great place to add some in. But let's get to the 10 plus results. I love the 10 plus results. The third choice on this, I'm going to do it first because it's easy. Choose 2 from the 7 to 9 list. Just make sure that you fully describe out what's going on, and that the scene actually includes all of those things. Having an opportunity and provoking your teammate at the same time can make things a little chaotic, but that's not a bad thing. That's just the fight getting really out of control. Another option is you must take yourself out of the situation, flee, pass out, etc. This is actually the place where player characters can die, but notice it's up to the player how that happens. The player says, I'm choosing this option and I'm going to run away. And then we see the character running from the situation and leaving their friends in a horrible lurch and like having civilians see them running away, and it's really bad. Or we see them just get smashed through a building and hit the floor and not move. And this is a place that a player character can say, hey, it says etc. I die. And that's all right. It probably shouldn't be your core assumption, but it is something that is available to you. Alternately, consider other situations. If you are all in like an astrally projected psychic sphere, One good way to flee the situation is to suddenly wake up. You've done effectively the same thing. You've removed yourself from the threat of the situation, and you've left your friends with a bad situation. And that's exactly what this should be doing. If it isn't doing both of those things, consider it as the player, as the GM, and work things out so that it does do that. If they have the cool item that they were there to stop someone from getting and they run away, that shouldn't be just like you automatically escape without consequence. That would actually be a really good thing in that situation. The last 10 plus result is my absolute favorite. You lose control of yourself and your powers in a terrible way. This is an easy one to get wrong as a GM. It's easy to accidentally make it so that they lose control of their powers in a really beneficial way. If you've got the Nova and they're like, oh, I'm using fire and blasting everything, and the lose control of your powers in a terrible way is your allies and the villains get pushed back a little bit, but things are overall kind of fine, you haven't done the move yet. This is a situation where characters can and should get hurt. You can use this to hurt the player characters. You can use this to hurt the people that the player character cares about. You can use this to make things really, really bad. And the more powerful the PC, the more opportunity you have. This is power out of control. This is bigger than they can do any other time, except for like moment of truth times, right? Like let it out. Let us really see it. Now that doesn't mean that people without powers can't also choose this option. As a GM, you should be thinking about how each of your players' skills and powers could be used in disastrous ways. I'll give an example. It's from Protean City, an actual play podcast that I GM and play in. We kind of rotate GMs. We had a player character that did not have any actual mutant powers or any magic powers or anything. She did a lot of like throwing. They did a lot of martial arts stuff, so losing control of their powers didn't sound like it made sense to the player. I told the player that indeed it was one of their options and that I promised that I would find a way to use it. And then when they chose that, I had them very nearly kill somebody that they really cared about. Not by shooting psi beams out of their eyes, but by making an instantaneous violent reaction that just went a little bit too far. And that is just as effective, because what we want to do with this is make the players realize that their control is gone and that they have done something really bad. They've done something that other people will look at and go, you lost control, you're not ready for this. And then we're right back into the whole drama of the teenage superheroes. So that's really great. That really hits the genre in a perfect way. One thing that can be a little bit weird with this move is figuring out when exactly it triggered. Sometimes it's extremely obvious. Someone punched you through a building. Yeah, that probably worked. If you are extraordinarily strong, though, maybe it didn't. Consider this. Hawkeye and the Hulk. If Hawkeye gets shot, he took a powerful blow. That was really very bad. He might also have longer-term narrative reactions that he has to deal with, and things could get really horrible. Hawkeye obviously could die from that. On the other hand, if the Hulk is all hulked out and he's shot, not only did he not take a powerful blow, nothing happened. He doesn't care. And so if you have a playbook like the Bull or like the Transformed that tends to be a little bit beefier, that tends to take a harder hit, then remember that you should be paying attention to when they take the blow, not when anyone else would. If I'm the Juggernaut and I slam through a building, I didn't take a powerful blow. If I'm Nightcrawler and someone throws me through a building, I certainly did. Another thing that comes up is players asking if they can take a powerful blow. I know that I do that quite a bit on Protean City because my character is a sponge for sadness. I think that that's okay. In a lot of the other moves, I caution against it, but essentially this is a time where the player is saying to the GM, hey, that really hurt me, and I really want to explore the narrative consequences of that. Obviously, if you're really hurting the player, not the character, that's some time to like sit down and have a social discussion and work things out so that doesn't keep happening. But if a character got hurt, then something should happen. Another thing to be careful of as a GM is not to make take a powerful blow your automatic and only response when players are involved in combat. Sometimes you should be having them take a powerful blow, sometimes you should have them just mark conditions, and other times you should use the myriad of GM moves that you have at your disposal. An upcoming episode will deal with that, although I'm probably going to hit planning first because a lot of people have been asking. Just stay tuned to the feed. This brings us to the last move of the basic moves being done. This feels like an enormous achievement to me, even though I kind of feel like it's only 10 videos and we haven't covered nearly enough. But if you are sitting down and you have a good grasp of these basic moves, you can run a fantastic game. Just get these moves mastered and have your list of GM moves available to you to use as starting points. Masks is a game that's really easy to run in some ways because you set up a situation where bad things are happening and the players are really motivated to go get their hands dirty. Then when they do, the consequences just roll on out. Consider someone is in combat. They are directly engaging. Things start to go bad. They take a powerful blow. That powerful blow leads to somebody provoking. That provoking leads to someone unleashing their powers. That unleashing their powers leads to a whole nother thing starting. And the game just rolls on in this wonderful way. I'm like just now realizing how ridiculously bright it is in this room. The visuals will be better next time. I'm sorry about that. I honestly am considering going back and re-recording because it's pretty bad. And I just took a powerful blow. Luckily, rolled a 6-. Oh, final thing before I forget. The highest number that you can ever roll with on any move ever is a +4. The reason for that is that if you roll Snake Eyes, you still get a 6-. So if you have all 5 conditions marked and you take a powerful blow, you can still only roll with the +4. In this case, it's a really beneficial thing because it means you can still get away with a little bit of extra potential, but the majority of the time you are wishing you had that extra +1. Another thing to pay attention to with this move is that a couple of the different options can end up leading you nicely into a clearing condition moves. So if you destroy something or hurt somebody important to you, that lets you clear angry, so that's awesome. If you flee, pass out, or run away from something, then you get to clear afraid because you ran from something. Probably others, but I'm going to do a whole video on that. So that is the end of Take a Powerful Blow. If you have any questions about how this or any of the other basic moves work, feel free to hit me up in the comments below or on Twitter at Dr. Captain Cobalt. I may not respond to you right away on Twitter because I'm involved in a couple different things on that, but I do try to get back to the comments as quickly as I possibly can. Additionally, if you have requests for videos for masks or for other things, please put them in the comments. I'm always looking for new things to do, and I'm hoping to start rolling out some of this comic book material as well. I know that I haven't done a phenomenal job of keeping up with some of the Patreon stuff, so there's some more Masks videos that are going to be put in as bonus videos. There are some additional Masks videos that'll be coming out as bonus videos. I'm really excited for those. I unfortunately see that my podner James Malloy at Stop Hack and Roll is pinging me because we have to go record a Stop Hack and Roll right now. That also comes out tomorrow. Check out that podcast. It's about making games and hacking games, and it's actually where Pasión de las Pasiones came from. So this is going to be a slightly quicker sign off than it normally is. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you would like to make sure that you catch every single video, ring that bell. I'm up to 260 subscribers, and that's really, really exciting. So if you've got friends that love masks, or you have friends you want to get involved with masks, or friends that love comics or RPGs or whatever, let them know about the show. That is the biggest thing you can do for me, and it makes such an enormous difference. Next week, we're going to be back with my GM prep. It's a little bit weird because I do mostly actual play, but I think that it's actually a really fundamentally useful way to think about comic design within Masks: A New Generation. So until next time, keep being a force for good in a world that hates and fears you. Later, folks.